continue. A couple of things to do. Let's just activate this network. So we go to Network Analysis, Change Network Data Source, and we want the cycle network. This is our network. Click on that. So now it knows to analyze that. We go to Catalog, and we can go to raw data down there, and we want to add in our background image, our RGB. There it comes. Let's put that down the bottom there so it's out of the way, and there's our network. Maybe we want to make that slightly more visible. Let's change the color to something we like, say orange, or some other color. It doesn't matter hugely. Whatever, you can leave it as grey if you like. It doesn't matter. It's just a matter of visualization. And then we need to what we're going to do is we're going to add a start location for our analysis, and it's going to be somewhere in the middle here. Zoom in there, and we can see here's the campus, and we're going to be putting in a point there somewhere, but we need a layer that's going to receive that. We need to have a feature data set or a feature that's going to receive that. So we need to go to Catalog, please, and then we need to right click on our network there and click on New and New Feature Class, and this is going to be a point type. So we're bringing points. We want M values and the name. Let's just quickly look at the instructions. What did I say the name should be? Start end. That was what we were going to call it. We're going to call it start end. Start end. It's a point. We go to next. Oh dear. Yeah, we need to. These are the fields, so we're going to start adding some more fields. Call that start, and it's not going to be text. It's going to be short integer, and then we can add another field here called end, and that's going to be a short integer. These are essentially going to be binary instructions saying yes, this is a start point, or yes, this is an end point. If we click on next there, this is going to be in serif 1990M. Click on next. We can just basically click through all of these now, and we're done, and it should create this feature class. There's nothing in it as yet, but we have this here. So that's been created. We're done now. Now we can actually start mapping it. So if we're going to create this service area. So what we're going to do, our first analysis is going to be a service area around the university, and we're going to use the lawn outside the library as a starting point. The first thing we need to do is to add that new layer that we've created to the map, and then we can start editing it and add a point. So if we just drag that in, we can pull it up there. It's in, and now we should be able to start editing it. If we go there, we can click on Create, and we want to click on that, and we're going to add a point in there somewhere. And it's just going to be a point like that. And if we click on the attributes of that point, I mean, we can do that in the Create Features tool here, or the Modify Features tool here, or we can just go to our table there for this, and we can put in a 1 there, and we can put in a 0 there. And so it's not an endpoint, it is a start point. And then done, and we are going to save that. We save the edits, yeah. Clear the selection. It's not a terribly visible point, so we can just quickly, if we like, go to the symbology for that. Where am I? Why am I not seeing symbology? There we go. And then change that point to something. Let's just take that. Say, it doesn't need to be anything particularly fancy, but that's good. So we're done. No, that was, delete that. We don't want to be in edit anymore, so we'll move out of there. Next tool, next job. If we go back to the instructions, we have now created the start points. You can see the styling is a little bit different there, not hugely important. So now we need to actually create our service area. We save the edits and close the create feature tool. Yes, and now we can run the build network tool. So now if we go to our cycle network, we go to analysis, and look at the network analysis, and it's not in there. So where is it? Then we need to go to geoprocessing, and click there, and network. We search for network. So we can go to actually search for network, build network. Input the network dataset. I'm doing that. Cycle network, and we click on run. So we've built the network. What does that mean? We've now created these edges that were there before. They're there again. It's just rebuilt the network. It's just done the same job that we had done before. We just have to rebuild it. It's just the computer needs to update itself, or rather ArcGIS needs to update itself to know that these things are actually in there. So now we're going to do this, we're going to actually create this service area. To do that, we need to tell it what to use. So if we mark our network layer in the table of contents, and then we can switch the network analysis tab, network analyst tab, and then we can run the service area. And we can essentially follow the instructions from there. So go click on there, service area, and we get, that's not allowed while editing. Apparently I'm still editing somewhere, so let's just see where that is. Create features, and that we're done. We should close that now. We should no longer be editing. Why does it think we are editing? We are no longer editing. We're done. Didn't I do that before? I'm sure I did. I love you, Arc. I really love you. You are such a joy to work with at every stage. Let's try this again. Thank you. So now we have this service area. It's called number 3 because I've made 2 previous attempts that failed to work because obviously I hadn't clicked on save. When I had clicked save, I thought I clicked on save, but obviously I hadn't. So the next stage in the instructions is we need to then inform it of facilities. What is a facility? Well, that's kind of starting point, end point, that sort of thing. We're going to click on this import facility icon, which will be in the ribbon, and then we're going to import our start endpoint. So here we have our service area. Click on that service area tab up there, import facilities, input network analysis layer, input locations, and that's going to be start end. Yep, use geometry field name. For now we can just skip all that. We can just run with the defaults in this import feature there. We go like that. For now we can set this all up later if we so wish. Somehow that just always insists on unpinning. So now we have imported this as a facility, and we can see that actually, if we just turn it off, that's gone from being red to being orange. So that is now a facility. It knows to start from there. The next step then, we need to set up how we're going to calculate our service area. It's been added to the map, and then in the ribbon, travel settings, set the cutoffs for 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 1000. Polygons to polygons and lines, and then under output geometry, the other settings should be standard precision, overlaps and rings. Right. What does all that mean? So first of all, we're going to visualize our service area. How far can we come from here if we were to go out certain distances along the network. And I'm suggesting that we should do 100 meters, 200 meters, 300 meters, 400 meters, 500 meters, and 1,000 meters, just to not make it too difficult. And then we want to do rings. I think we can do overlap is dissolve, maybe, if we like. Standard precision, instead of polygons, we want polygons and lines. Standard precision, overlap and rings. I said overlap rather than dissolve. Let's just do overlap. Fine. So now we're going to do polygons and lines. This means it's going to create polygons and lines. What does that mean? Well, we'll see when we get the results up. So we've done that. Now we can click on the run in the ribbon, which is up there. So we just click on run, and it should perform an analysis. And what we get when we zoom out a little bit is something like that. So what has happened here? What we have is a service area that is attempting to use the network that we've created, attempting to use the edges of this cycle network to go from this point out to certain distances, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 and 1,000 meters, and they're colored in these various colors. If we actually just turn that off for a second, you can see the colors more clearly, and you can also see that it's a bit of a mess, quite frankly. Why is it a bit of a mess? Well, what are the things that are obvious here? If we start off by clicking on this lines, we can look at the attribute table here. And we can see we've got these shape lengths. We've got columns here called from cumulative length and to cumulative length. So it's telling us how far along the network it's come from the beginning of its analysis. And these are going to be set, there will be points at, because we set it to go to 100, 200, 300, 400, it will have from 0 to 100, but also there will be points, as we can see here, the road ended, or that section of road ended at 124 meters, so it starts a new section that goes up to 200, and then it starts a new section from 200 up to the next break, which is 290. We can see here that from 369 we've got quite a long road that goes to 400, then to 500, then it breaks it. So it's doing all this all the way along. That's information that we can actually use. We could, if we like, we can go here and we can go to symbology. And instead of single symbol, we can use graduated colors, for example. And then we set the field to, say, this from cumulative length. And then we get this color gradient as well here, so we can see the gradient is for different sections of line. It's not like the lines themselves gradually move along this gradient, but they're sort of categorized, as you can see here, in these steps. So we can get some idea of the progression through the network. That allows us to see what's actually happening throughout our network here. And we can see that we're joining the network, we're traveling along the road here, and then we're coming along here. Something odd. Let's change, because this is all orange now. Let's change the network edges here to a different color. Let's change those to, let's say, bright pink. So we can see we've got the bright pink layers here. So they're not being used. But we can also see that this is this dark red color. Rather than being a lighter red, obviously it's gone around and then back again. It's not picked up on this road here. And the network is far from complete. We're jumping around all over the place. There are strange emissions in our network. For example, here, we've got these long distances to get to places that should be much nearer. I can see this on the distances, the darkness of the colours in these lines. If we want, we can make these all larger as well, thicker, so that we can see the colours more clearly. So if we right click on that and go to the symbology for that, which is there. Thank you. Symbology. We have all those lines there with their colours. If we mark them, we can actually change the thickness of all of these in one setting somewhere. Where was it? Advanced, no, basic. Change that, go to apply, back, change that, apply, go back. We should be able to do all these at once, but right now I can't remember where that was because I'm doing this basically live, unpracticed, because I'm an expert, I know what I'm doing, obviously. So we can just set these up to be a bit thicker. And apply there. So that's that done. So now these lines are a little bit thicker and we can see what they actually mean, and we can see that there's just a lack of connectivity in these lines. We're not meeting up, there are bits missing. So with that we can then say, right, we need to do some editing. Now that's quite evident. So once we've seen this faulty network, we now need to start editing it. But what do we need to edit? Well, this is the problem. We need to edit. We can't edit the network directly. What we need to edit is the data that was used to create the network. So to begin with, we need to understand what it is that needs to be edited. So we need to do some more symbology, and we need to find out where we actually have nodes. If we go to the catalog, and we're going to add the cycle network junctions. So we go to catalog here, and if we look at this, we have the junctions there, and we can add those in up there, and these are dots, and we can see that there are junctions. It looks pretty good. Not always. So there are certain places where there are junctions missing where we would rather have them. But it actually doesn't look too bad. Why is, I mean, like for instance, there should be a junction there, possibly. We need to analyze, we need to look at the aerial photograph in the background. But so that's an obvious mistake, but that would appear to be there. Now I'm going to suggest that perhaps there's a node on one of these roads, but not on the other. And that's why that is not connecting. So we can see a similar problem there and there, so we need to start doing some editing of these things. But first of all, we're going to play around with some symbology, and this I think I will put into a different video, because symbology can be quite tricky to work with. As you saw previously, there are so many settings in so many different places, so let's keep this as a separate video, and then we'll do the editing of the nodes and show how to do that.